Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Name is Dennis Talbot. My address is exempt. I'm here speaking on behalf of a change.org petition of over 1,700 citizens of this county in opposition to this project. The neighborhood has been fighting this for 2 years since it originally started here and was withdrawn. We fought it every way through the county. Here are some of our concerns. Number one, you're required to notify all people that reside within a specific zone around the property being proposed. I personally know 4 people that are within that zone that never received a notification. Based on that thought, I don't think this motion should proceed forward. We can discuss that at the end. I'm going to use my time. We have other concerns. Their replies to their review for annexation say the proposed change is contrary to the established land use pattern. They say no, that other properties are being prepared. None of those properties are even up in preparation at this point in time. We don't think they should be able to count that. And there is no established pattern, anything like this development in that area. Everything in that area, with the exception of Pine Grove Park, which was built in the 1950s and 60s, are half-acre lots or more, not 3 houses per acre. That's not concurrent with what the thing is.
Affected owners on that area due to this project. And thank you for the speech and the points that my fellow resident brought to your attention. I appreciate this opportunity. It is true, I was not ever notified about this project. I have heard about it by pure coincidence because my job is community association manager, and I was actually searching through the records and the agenda to find out some other information for another item. It was my surprise. As I am a community manager, I am well aware of what he just stated. A traffic study needs to be conducted. I am in very well knowledge of the type of business that American Homes for Rent does. And unfortunately, if the project is going to be a 284 homes, we're talking about between 850 vehicles to 1,200 in that community. Simple math. Between houses of 3 bedrooms and houses of 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms, most of these homes normally are subletted so they can afford paying the rent, and more than 4 families live together.
In relation to Jim, but I know him well. Well, related many, many generations ago. So I am building a house currently in Nova Bay, which is the community that our fellow councilman lives in, and I am aware of the project just by driving by and seeing the sign. My question is, one, what is the city's view? What is their goal that they're trying to achieve with approving something like this or considering something like this? And I have a few questions for the builder in terms of what is your typical lease length that you have for your residents, and what would you say is the average number of 911 calls that get generated for your community? Those are the 2 questions that I really...
You guys have heard me talk before, so you probably know what I'm going to say. But basically, I think the concerns are valid of the residents. I think this could be a dangerous precedent for St. Cloud for a couple of reasons. One is that when you have a community like this that's owned by investors, you run the risk of investors crowding out aspiring homeowners in the community, people that actually want to buy homes here and, you know, live here for the rest of their life, build their family here, that sort of thing. And the houses are owned by investors, or they're owned by this company, I assume is owned by investors. And so you're really at the mercy of these investors for your rent costs, for, you know, how long you can stay in the home and things like that. So some of the other things I want to talk about is what would keep the renters in this community for long term versus short term. I know that he spoke about amenities, you know, showed us some slides of a pool and a a nice community center. But one thing I did not see, or a few things I did not see were, I didn't see a public park. I did not see any place for people to get groceries. I didn't see any place for people to have a daycare facility. I didn't see any schools. And so, as you know, I keep speaking on this, that we're building communities with nothing but houses. And that's not sustainable. As we continue to do that, we are just digging ourselves a deeper hole, essentially.
Which is right around the corner from this. I have a couple of questions. They were talking about eventually coming to Nova Road, and I guess when I looked up where this is, and it comes out on 192, Nova Road and 192 is already an incredible hot mess. Just recently, we had a fatal accident there a couple of weeks ago. If we add more traffic coming out on either Nova Road coming out or coming out 192 coming down without putting a light or something there at Nova Road and 192, we're just looking for even more accidents there, because right now it's the people coming in from Harmony and, you know, just truckers and stuff coming through on 192 on there. And you cannot cross 192 to get over onto Nova Road, so it's an issue there.
I just can't imagine you putting something like this here out in that neighborhood. As our property is already getting flooded out from what they've done previously here at this commission hearing by them putting in 5 feet of fill next to our property and then flooding us out. And we used to be in Orange Grove, so you know it was the highest property there.
And I've been in rental places, and I've had to try to find a super at times, and it's sometimes almost impossible. I just had to do a quick read on these companies that actually do this, okay? It came out of 2012. A lot of them bought up a lot of the homes that were foreclosed on out in California and so on, and they actually made a model to do this. And believe it or not, there were a lot of mergers of these companies. They're not all around. There's like but 3 or 4 of them still strong in the United States. Bothers me, it's a stock-held company. There's a difference between a person living in a neighborhood, taking care of his home, and having a lot of transient people coming in and out, okay? And when the stock market falls or these homes age, and I was just reading up on that, the investment becomes more and more for them to sustain it as it ages out with the rent. In the beginning, it's great, long term, and I did hear him mention 20 years, and that's a magic number. 24 years, you take the depreciation schedule on a building that you build. Okay, you do reinvest, you can take that also. But a lot of companies will come in, a lot of owners, they'll get the depreciation schedule, they'll write off the interest, and then they'll do a 1031 exchange and get the hell out. I got a friend of mine who's worth a ton of money. He did that in New York. He invested down here in Florida. All 1031 exchanged so they can avoid the taxes. And yes, they have an advantage over a home buyer because, yes, while he is paying more in property taxes, in federal taxes, in some states, Florida, you don't have it, but they take the depreciation schedule also combined with the interest write-off, okay? And that, in the beginning, is a great tax incentive. So, in the long run, I don't think rentals are good. I think home ownership is better if you can get people in here to afford it. And I got a funny feeling. I see so many rentals, and it reminds me of areas in New York. They do good. They don't invest in them again over and over. They take the depreciation schedule, and the neighborhoods change. People leave, gets run down, then they go over from the east side back to the west side. And I'm seeing a lot of that in Orlando now, and it's actually scaring me.
Thank you, sir.